So here we have it. Your little foot frame has arrived and you are ready to get started. It's going to come in two big boxes. One box is going to have that frame section in it, and the rails that are behind me, and some of these bigger parts like this frame. And the smaller box, which is heavy, so just be careful. You might want to unpack it and then take it apart in sections to where you're going to put your frame up. It's going to have these legs in it. It's going to have the parts that form the side arms and the smaller parts such as the screws. It's also going to have some tools in it. You don't get your electric drill, but this does make things quicker, and I usually put in a 5mm hex screw in there. So depending on where you're putting your little foot frame, you may want to upgrade to wheels. The standard is to get feet like this. These are really good feet. They've got some sort of rubberized surface on the underside, and that just gives a nice secure footing for your frame, and it's a nice solid frame when it's put together. The alternative is to go for the locking wheels. This is really handy where perhaps you've got multi-purpose room, as many people have. This has got to fit in, but actually when we're not using it, it needs to be wheeled out of the way. In which case we can put on the special caster feet. They're a heavy duty foot with a locking mechanism, and they work really effectively. It's what you might see if you come and see us at one of the shows, and many of the studio frames and little foot frames we have here at our showroom have the wheels on it, just so we can easily move them around. When you put on the feet, you don't want to screw them all the way in. You'll get this adjustment tool, which is a way of adjusting the feet when they're in place, and you can adjust them so that the height is such that the machine doesn't move when it's just stationary. You don't want it floating around and pulling on the needle when you've got it all set up. So we use this tool, which has got a little cutout which fits neatly into the base of the foot. So when you put it in, I'd recommend, what I do is an approximate, is either a thumb width works really well for how far off you should screw it in. So leave about a thumb distance there on the threads, and then that means you've got a bit of leeway. So first things first, there's a few things that I put together in advance of assembling the whole thing. First of all, of course, I do the feet. The other thing that you'll be doing before you put it on the frame is you'll be putting these caps on the longer of the rails, and this is much easier to put in place before you put it on the sides. So what we do is we use two of these 4mm bolts, and we put it in this section here, which will be separate. It's a plastic section, and what you want to do is make sure that this is going to be on the side of the frame, and this is actually going to be the outside, and this is the inside. It's important that that press button, which is going to be used for the short section that gives us the side arm, is pointing towards the inside. So just take a note of how that one is set up. And you can see this will form the other side again. So the upright there and the button are on the same side. It's much easier to do those in advance than trying to do it from underneath. We've got 4 legs, and you need to make sure that you put them on the right way around. These insets are for the height adjustment, and the height adjustment enables us to get it right for us. I mean, I'm 5'2" just, but you know, we have customers who may be 6 foot. So this gives us the kind of height adjustment we need. You may need to have a slightly different height adjustment if you've got the wheels compared to if you've got the feet, because they are fairly chunky wheels. So I lay them out. This section where these adjustments are faces inside. So lay these out so that at each corner it's the right one. And then we're ready to start putting it together. So get your 5mm bolts, just put each one through the screw hole, and you'll find There's a hole there. You can put that in. To avoid cross-threading, we recommend that you manually put that in, and then you can use the faster method for tightening it up. Don't tighten it up completely. At this stage, we are not tightening it up completely. The reason being that we've got some brackets to put on here, and some of these screws we're going to be removing. And I'm going to repeat this at the front. It's just going to take me a few minutes to do that, and while I'm doing it, I'll just show you some stills of the key things that we needed to take a note of just there. Okay.